but you guys are awesome, and jazakumullah khairan for coming. You guys have continually supported WhyIslam, and you guys have been the backbone of our organization, and the organization is yours. So I thank you for coming today. It's a big honor for us. Who is excited to see Sheikh Alauddin al-Bakri tonight? Takbir! Who's excited to see Sister Lauren Booth tonight? Takbir! All right, alhamdulillah. We've tried our best to put together a program that is succinct, exactly something different, inshallah. We've had a crowd that we were absolutely not expecting, so excuse, inshallah, the minor glitches in the room. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Brothers and sisters, when it comes down to it, I will be speaking for 10 minutes and then I'll be quiet and we'll move on with the program. We have 3 projects that we need your help with. 3 main projects. Number 1 is Dawah. Number 2 is education. Number 3 is social services. We're going to break it down very simply, inshallah, so that you understand what programs we are involved in and what programs we plan for the future, inshallah, so you have a good understanding of where your money is going. The $35, $40, $50 ticket that you paid for today, that is a huge donation to our activities. Keep in mind, part of that donation actually goes to teaching someone about Islam. Part of that donation goes to our 877 hotline. That is a regular, everyday hotline for non-Muslims to call in and actually ask about Islam. So I refer to our first slide, inshallah, on the page. Next slide, please. Just some quick facts about what we do. Brothers and sisters, in the last 5 years alone, we've given close to 4 million pamphlets on Islam. In the last 5 years, we've given close to 5 million pamphlets on Islam, brochures on Islam. In the past 5 years, in Southern California alone, we've given over 40,000 copies of the Quran. These aren't just copies that we're passing out like the Gideon's Bible. These are actual people that are interested in receiving a copy on Islam. We're speaking to them about Islam, speaking to them about the Quran, and they are taking it and reading it at home. We are at 2 of the largest festivals in California alone. Number 1 of the largest Cinco de Mayo festivals in the nation, Fiesta Broadway. We will inshallah be there on May 8th. This is the first time an Islamic organization, a Muslim organization from our own, will be participating in a Latino-based festival like Fiesta Broadway. Almost 500,000 show up just to this one event. We're teaming up with our sister organization, Lala in the back. Lala, where are you guys at? MashaAllah. Sister Martha and her crew, we're teaming up inshallah with them so that we can outreach to the Latino Muslim community. If you guys have been keeping up with the recent census, within 20 to 30 years, the Latino community in the United States as a whole will be increasing by almost 20 to 30%. Statisticians are really going crazy about this influx of the Latino population, which is a community that we need to serve, inshallah. Another thing that we've been working on is our anti-Islamophobia campaign. One thing, brothers and sisters, that I need to mention very importantly, and I'll just be very blunt with you if you don't mind, and all of you know this. There reaches a point in an organization, a non-profit organization, there reaches a point where you can no longer just exclusively rely on volunteer activities. Your volunteers and our volunteers today, mashallah, are the core of our organization. But at some point, you need paid staff. Brothers and sisters, our organization, your organization, needs to start hiring and taking this work to the next level. We can absolutely no longer rely on pure volunteer effort. Our pure volunteer effort is only going to get us so much work done. The next step is executive director. The next step is office manager. Alhamdulillah, we've already had an office for quite some time. We've been shipping out Qur'ans and pamphlets and having Islam 101s regularly in Southern California. The next step is we need an executive director who's hired, professionally trained, and can get to work on some of the projects that your community needs, that your masjid needs, on some of the projects that are just out there, but we don't have the manpower to do so. Give us the opportunity, we'll take on, we have the manpower to do that. We just need, inshallah, some expenses to keep us going. Our next slide, inshallah, will focus on education. Our next slide, inshallah, will focus on education. And in this realm, we've really done some major life-changing things for a lot of members of our community. Brothers and sisters, how many of us have always complained about not having American-born scholars? Muslims who are American-born and our scholars. MashaAllah, our scholars over here have done such an amazing job at laying down the foundation and the framework for our community. MashaAllah, a lot of them are here today smiling their faces, MashaAllah, joining our community. And the same token, the young sisters in the community, alhamdulillah, have grown up and start to need some sort of relationship being built, and some sort of community that can support their knowledge efforts, and a community that can really take them and support them in their own quest for knowledge and ilm, so that they can come back to the community and really give in a legitimate manner. So, alhamdulillah, with our next slide, please. Islamic Learning Foundation, ILF, what we do is we sponsor students to go overseas, gain the knowledge from legitimate schools, whether it be Al-Azhar, whether it be Jamaat Islamiyya in Pakistan, whatever organizations or schools are out there to suffice that need. We'll sponsor them for 4 or 5 years. They'll get their knowledge, they come back and they serve your community. They serve your masajid. So with the education, this is what we've been trying to do. We've set up new Muslim classes, we've set up Islam 101 classes, we've set up revert classes, and alhamdulillah, in this area, WhyIslam has done a really amazing job. For a lot of us, when someone converts or becomes a Muslim or a revert or a masjid, the whole community, we've heard this a million times, rushes to the person, picks them up, throws them up a couple of times, says the takbirs, and then we throw them behind us and keep on walking to the next new Muslim. Alhamdulillah, WhyIslam has a policy. Whenever an individual becomes a Muslim, they're automatically entered into a database of Muslims that we have to follow up with that individual, teach them how to pray, follow up with them one-on-one, give them that social connection that they have, so they're not just thrown back into their society. So they're not thrown back with their friends, who might push them left or right or whatever. So alhamdulillah, WhyIslam has done an amazing job on this end, and we have much to learn, believe me, and we have much more work to do. Next slide. Last but not least, I want to present to you on our social services projects. And sometimes we think that Dawah is a very monolithic path, it's a very narrow path. Dawah means you go up to someone and you tell them Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one and become a Muslim. Sometimes we don't view Dawah as an action, as a social service. Sometimes we don't view Dawah as something like Feed the Hungry campaign. Brothers and sisters, most of you, I'm sure, have interacted with non-Muslims. And when you do a good deed, when you help a lady cross the street or whatever it is, and you look like a Muslim, you have a hijab on, you have a beard, whatever it is, wallahi, that person that you just helped, everyone around them that has been second-guessed, that has seen that situation, automatically starts to register different views about Islam. Dawah is not only about teaching people the Quran or Hadith or whatever, other avenues out there. Dawah is a very active thing. In social services, this is our key point here. One important thing, brothers and sisters, that we're seeing because of this economy is the amount of homelessness in this country. The amount of unemployed in this country has skyrocketed, without a doubt. But Muslims have a responsibility to this. This is our responsibility to our people, which is our neighbors around us. So in our responsibility to do this, alhamdulillah, we present our social services on our next slide. And what we've done is, on our next slide, we want to basically tackle a couple of main departments. Alhamdulillah, ICNA has already set up mobile clinics, where they're actually clinics on wheels, so to speak. They go around to different underserved communities, they set up wherever they're needed, and they'll start basically treating people with health issues. They're mobile clinics that are able, and we're planning on building much more than just 1 or 2 clinics, inshallah. We plan on, putting a lot of them out there, depending on your support, inshallah, we can put 5, 10, 15, or we can put 1. Depending on your support, inshallah. Another thing that we're working on is a women's shelter. The foundations for the women's shelter is already laid. All that we need to do is look for a building, and the women's shelter, inshallah, will be laid out in Southern California. Brothers and sisters, the majority of our projects that we're talking about today are not in Texas, are not in Northern California, are in Southern California, in your own backyard. So when we talk about our need, brothers and sisters, our need is great. I'm not going over the figures because $250,000 sounds like a big number. But alhamdulillah, we have over 500 people here today. Takbir! Over 500 of you have made a conscious choice to come to the fundraiser today to learn about our efforts, to learn about what this organization in your community is doing for you and for our neighbors around us. So we ask and plead for this cause, inshallah. We're asking for the next slide, please. We're asking $250,000. This is inclusive of paid staff, this is inclusive of all of our projects. And inshallah, we'll have to deal with whatever we get tonight. I think tonight we're going to hit $1 million. I know that for sure. Am I crazy? Call me crazy, inshallah. But more importantly than your money is your dua and your support at the end of the day. If you're interested in volunteering, if you're interested in supporting the cause, if you're interested in just making dua. Brothers and sisters, keep us top of mind, inshallah. This is a big, hefty number, and I know, inshallah, we're going to be getting to it tonight. Again, WhyIslam, ICNA appreciates your support. We thank you for being here. We thank our scholars and our community leaders for being here tonight. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.